Okay, hopefully it's working. I don't see any comments on Facebook yet, but I'll keep my eyes open. And in the meantime, I want to thank, we've got 12 people who have joined already on Zoom. So I want to thank everybody for joining us for end of the year. I see we've got Kevin, Dan, two Dans, Carlton and Slimak, Dave Kazmarek, Jeff Miller, Mark Sockwell, Martin Svensson, Richard Whitmer, Stephen Pope, Walter McGovern. That's great. We had almost 30 pre-register for tonight, so it's wonderful to have that support. I see Carolyn Thomas on Facebook. I think I know who that is. That's actually, I think, the wife of the owner and president, Bill Thomas, who's joining us right now. So, Bill, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, John. I want to thank you for having me on.
It's great to have you here.
And I want to just say you're doing a terrific job, and you're doing an extraordinary job across the board in everything you do for us. So I want to first say thank you to you and happy holidays to your family.
Well, thank you so much. And as always, it's been a pleasure working with Compass. Boy, it's been quite a year. I'm going to go through a recap, actually. But before we do all that, I know people might have some questions for you. And I want to just remind everybody, there is a lag on Facebook where I might be 15, 20 seconds before I see your comments. But if you're on the Zoom platform with us right now, you should look at the bottom of your little interface and you'll see a little chat or Q&A section. So please take advantage of the Q&A and the chat area. And you can ask any questions you want while we have, this is actually the first time Bill Thomas has joined us. So he's always very busy, running the company. And he sort of leaves it to me to try to get updates out to everybody. But it's a golden opportunity for all of you that have joined live to ask questions of Bill before we go through the review of this year and what happened. But in the meantime, I'll wait for questions now. But in the meantime, while everybody prepares any questions they may have, could you tell us, Bill, how did we do this year as far as total number of releases? How does that compare and contrast to, say, the last year or the last 2 years for Compass? How busy was it for Compass this past year?
Yeah, this past year was a best year ever in revenue as well as releases. Okay, we're up about, I think we did like 23 games this year. Okay, I think last year we ended up around 20, and the year before I think we were like 14. Okay, so we've had a great growth, and we could only do that because of our customers. Okay, and we appreciate all the customers, people who buy our games, and I just want, before I forget, I want to wish everybody a happy, safe holiday season, and hopefully they're going to get a lot of our games under the Christmas tree.
I mean, we want them to stay safe so they can use that holiday special pricing and catalog we've posted, right?
Yeah, that goes through the 31st of January.
Right. So actually, there's quite a bit of time left on that. So that's absolutely true. So let me do this. We do have a few questions that are starting to roll in. So again, I want to thank everybody for asking their questions and remind everybody to please post your questions under the Q&A topic so we can go ahead and do that. So the first question for you, Bill, is from Martin Svensson. He's asking, what is the typical process for choosing future games to publish? And you might want to mention, what a publishing commitment means at Compass, because other publishers do things differently as far as pre-order systems. So maybe you can mention that as well.
Okay, what happens is a designer will usually contact us, and the designer's probably worked on the game probably 3 or 4 years, maybe longer, and he'll approach us and see if we're interested in the game. And then we go through a rigorous evaluation of that game, okay, whether it's you, myself, or the 2 other project managers we have, which is Billy Thomas, my son, and Ken, who works for me, okay? And then we all talk about it and see if we want to go ahead with the game, okay? And then it enters the development process and some extra play testing. And the project managers are really the people who take it from that point on through artwork and stuff like that. Our pre-order system is really not a set number for a certain game. When we take a game, we're going to publish that game. Okay, whether that's 1,000 pre-orders, 200 pre-orders, and we'll publish the game as soon as it's ready. So we don't count on pre-orders to publish the game.
Great. That helps a lot. Yeah, I know a lot of people usually ask about if a pre-order number needs to be hit or not. Another question came in on, do you personally have a certain preference for historical gaming era or type of game that you like to see getting published? Like it's your company, obviously, and you carry a lot of weight. So there are certain gaming preferences you have as far as titles that are released.
The World War One.
Oh,
World War One strategic, and
yep.
that's why we've done 4 games on World War One.
Okay, so
I like Civil War. I'm really what we're really trying to do is get into the ancients a little more. Okay, but really, I have a lot of things I like to do, so I don't really have a specific. Probably World War One would be the one.
World War One. Okay.
Yep.
And last question is, when the catalog, last question I have anyway that's come in so far, if there's others later, I'll be sure to give them to you. But people are wondering, outside of the catalog, are there any other specials that Compass typically runs? I guess I should mention we do specials for Compass Games Expo for attendees to thank them. But just a general question, you do such a big winter holiday sale. People are wondering if there are certain times of the year, maybe you do any type of special pricings. And they said, thanks,
Yeah, historically, it's been the holiday catalog, and we haven't done any special pricings throughout the year other than that. I think this year is going to be a little different. Okay, I think we are going to run specials throughout the year. Okay, I think, and I'll just say, I love Compass Games Expo. Probably is the best thing I enjoy. Okay, I am so proud of that we can do an expo. People come and we give 50% off on every game. Okay, we buy pizza one night for everybody at the convention. It really is the culmination of everything I've always wanted in the expo, to come see people play not only our games, because they can play any game.
Right.
Okay, I really enjoy the expo. But yes, we're looking at having different sale specials on certain games throughout the year this year.
Okay. Another question is about, people have noticed you're doing Kickstarters now and then, I guess typically for Euro games, sometimes maybe not, more crossover war games style games. Can you talk a little bit about how you plan to use Kickstarter moving forward? I think we just actually ended a Kickstarter campaign just a few days ago, correct?
Kickstarters are, Kickstarters are for games I think could be a crossover. Okay, there's just a way to reach a different market. Okay, they're not. So what you'll see is you won't find true war games being kickstarted. Okay, but if I felt like a game like Napoleonic Eagles, which is a card game, I thought that might have crossover. And so that's why I do Kickstarter, not because it's going to determine if the game's going to be published or not, because I've already made that determination. It's just to bring in some crossover people who might not know us or might be looking at a card game and not true war games.
Gotcha. Well, perfect. Makes sense. Yep. Perfect. So I think for now, that's all the questions I have. So I'll give you any closing remarks. I think you said you're going to stay on just in case.
Yeah, no, I'll stay on.
You'll stay on if there's any questions, but what we'll do then is we'll hold the closing remarks from you until the very end if you're able to stay on. So that sounds perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to officially kick off our look back at 2019. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so we can sort of take a quick look at, I got to make sure I pick the right screen now. This is the tricky part, actually. So yes, here we go. So hopefully everybody's seeing my screen now. And what I want to actually do here is, and Bill, we've got you still on I'm going to keep you on the video if that's okay. We're going to make sure you're staying awake for me. We're going to torture you because I get to torture everybody all year doing this. So you get to see how painful this is for everybody.
Oh, that's painful.
So here is the list. So hopefully can everybody see my screen? Bill, do you see the screen of the list of games?
I've got it. Good job.
Perfect, perfect. So what we have here, everybody, is in chronological order. These are all the releases that Compass Games had for 2019. We are done with releases for this year, so this is the full list. So as you can see here, there's actually a total list of 23 items. As Bill mentioned earlier, this is an uptick for Compass. I think last year maybe it was 2 or 3 titles less, 2 or 3 less releases. So this up to now has been the busiest year for Compass. I hope everybody likes sort of the array of games, the different styles of games. It includes the Paper Wars magazine insert games as well. And what I did here quickly, just to give you a quick idea, was I did a quick summation of games by historical period. So it's probably great news that Bill said, hey, I want to do more stuff for ancients. He said he really likes World War I and Civil War. And but the ancients is definitely an area where we're definitely an area of opportunity. We didn't have anything what I would consider under ancients released for last year, but as you can see here, you can see sort of the spread of games. For pre-gunpowder era, we had Jihad. That just missed the Ancient Wars era cut. So we had one for pre-gunpowder, and then for gunpowder era, which could be Civil War or before the Civil War, etc. You can see we had quite a few games here, including a Euro game, Colonialism, Late Unpleasantness, the Civil War game, No Peace Without Spain, Battle Hymn, Pitt's War, Pragmatic War, Once We Move Like the Wind, Wagram, which was recently released, and The Nation in Arms Restock. So actually our heaviest topic was gunpowder, let's call it, Civil War before mainly, Napoleonic era, Civil War era, pre-Civil War. That was our heaviest topic out of the, 9 out of 23, nearly 40% of our titles, not quite, were the gunpowder era. But that covers a diverse range of different historical periods if you break that apart further. And for World War I, we did have Zeppelin Raider, a Gregory Smith solitaire game. For World War II, we did have quite a few titles for World War II that came in second, just behind Contemporary Modern. And you can see for World War II, we had Crusade and Revolution, the nice, really impressive deluxe edition that a lot of people have made comments about. We had the Fortress Europa Designer Signature Edition of John Edwards' Fortress Europa. Combat, which was done extremely well. Combat, see a lot of mention of Combat online for sure. Of course, the first Russian Eastern Front title for a company scale system, the Little Land, was released. And finally, Interceptor Ace, which was also released in the past 60 days from Gregory Smith, follow on to Night Fighter Ace. So we had 6 titles for World War II. And then modern, what we just call a mixed bag, modern contemporary era, maybe even What If. So What If, for example, would be Stalin's World War III. We had Vietnam from Adam Starkweather. We had the deluxe edition of Hearts and Minds. We had Barlev, which was really a new edition. It wasn't a reprint of a previous design. It really took on a design of its own for a really good historical simulation on the 73 Arab-Israeli War. And also a more recent release, a lot of people have talked about Blue Water Navy. I'm going to put Bill on the spot here for a second because I want to keep him awake. So, Bill, can you share with folks, what do you think were out of this list of games released in 2019? Are there any here that surprised you in terms of, say, total sales, or maybe they started slow and then they picked up, there was a spike? I'm just curious, is there any particular movements around these games worth highlighting?
Well, the Greg Smith games do very well, right from the start all the way through. Okay, the one that probably surprised me, I knew Combat has done great. All of them have done very well. The one that probably surprised me was Hearts and Minds. Okay, that really took off. Okay, I would say that was my biggest surprise.
And that one actually surprised you to the point, I believe, we sold out, correct?
Yes, we sold out. That was the quickest one we've ever sold out.
Great. And then
time-wise.
Since you mentioned Gregory Smith, I failed to scroll all the way to the top of the list. So I think we were missing Pacific Tide at the very top. That was our first release for 2019. How did Pacific Tide do?
Oh, Pacific Tide did well. All of Greg's games continue to do well. The solitaire games do. Combat and right now, Combat and Blue Water Navy are just really selling very quickly.
Okay, great. Well, that's good to hear, and thanks to the customers again for really supporting all our games. It's really definitely greatly appreciated. So we definitely want to Thank you all for that. So what I'd like to do next here is we're going to transition, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule. So since we've talked a little bit about 2019, I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. And let's take a look at how we're starting off with the new year. So actually, I don't recall we had a title as early as we have for 2020. So right off the bat, I guess after the New Year's holiday, while people's drinks are just starting to get warm, we have the first release already happening for next year. And that's going to be France 1944. That's a designer signature edition from Mark Herman. So that's something we're very excited about, to have a chance to reissue. That game was originally released by Victory Games, I believe, back in the 1980s. And we did quite a few enhancements to the game. I know for Paper Wars, for an upcoming issue, Mark Herman did a fantastic sort of a strategy piece, general strategy piece on France 44 that I think is just going to be a great companion to the game. And we actually showed France 44. We had an advanced printer copy at Compass Games Expo. We were able to have it out on display and got a lot of really good comments on that. So that's going to be the first release on January 3rd. We're then following it up with Ostkrieg, World War II Eastern Front. What's notable to say about Ostkrieg is it's the exact same game system as Pacific Tide, which we just talked about from Gregory Smith. And Greg worked with Mitchell Ledford on this World War II Eastern Front game. And to be honest with everybody, Ostkrieg was the first design done in the series. Pacific Tide was actually started after Ostkrieg. What happened was Greg took such a liking to Ostkrieg, he thought, boy, I'd love to do something like this for the Pacific War. So we ended up releasing Pacific Tide first, actually. It sort of jumped ahead. But Ostkrieg's going to be coming out on January 17th, followed by American Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies. If that title is familiar or rings a bell to anybody, that's because we have B-17 Queen of the Skies was an Avalon Hill release, I believe, late 70s, early 80s. It has a huge following. It's a very popular game, B-17 Queen of the Skies. And this is another Gregory M. Smith design who's joined us also on Facebook Live tonight. So greetings to Gregory and Merry Christmas to him. So as you can see, Greg's been very busy. So this is another design from Gregory Smith, and this is semi tongue-in-cheek, but also it's actually pretty serious in terms of an alternate history topic. Hypothesis is Germany, of course, wins World War II in Europe and begins bombing from the Azores, begins bombing runs on the eastern seaboard of United States. And Greg actually did all the historical research of the actual bombing targets that Germany had drawn up, or what Americans had also drawn up in their plans of what they would have to defend if such had transpired historically. So again, it's based on B-17 Queen of the Skies. Greg released it actually as sort of a playtest kit early on, and people loved it. So we were very happy to be able to have a chance to publish it. What's exciting about all these games, Ostkrieg, American Bomber, France 44, all the components have either been printed already or they're at the printers right now. So these are 100% complete projects that are either done, getting ready to be collated, or we have, say, the rules booklet for Ostkrieg and America Bomber. It's always the last item we do with a project. Typically is the rules booklet's the last item that goes off to the printer. Those are all off with the printers right now. So we're really looking forward to, hopefully we'll hit the schedule. If the printers stay on their own schedule, we should be good. And then you see for starting with February, we're going to have no less than 4 releases scheduled for February. Some of these are recent pre-order announcements, such as Brief Border Wars from Brian Train. We've got also, I think, the long-anticipated World War II Commander Battle of the Bulge is going to be released in February. And that's another one of these crossover titles, I believe, Bill, correct? That might be, we might actually have on Kickstarter shortly, I believe, for others. Find out about the game as well. So we'll have that in February. And then one game I've told many people already, I have favorite games from the various designers for Designer Signature Edition series, and like John Edwards, it's Frank Chadwick. And then absolutely one of my favorites from Vance von Voorhis is the Decision at Kasserine game. We're doing a Designer Signature Edition there. I'm going to be announcing a request for playtesters starting tomorrow. So we have the Vassal module complete for Decision at Kasserine, and we want to go through a brand new Scenario 1. So anybody out there who's interested, who knows about Decision at Castering. This is an all-new designer signature edition. We're going to do some quick play testing through Vassal. We've got basically all the components are done and ready for play testing. And then it's just the rules layout that's going to be left to do. But we want to do a little bit of play testing. So I'm going to make a formal announcement for Decision at Castering. So anybody interested in that, please look for that announcement tomorrow. And then going into March, we have another designer signature edition to kick off March. That's Joe Pakalski's The Korean War, which was originally released by Victory Games in the early 80s. Another very popular title. And that will be coming in early March, followed by several other games. We have a card game with Napoleon's Eagles. Brotherhood and Unity, I did the interview several months ago on that topic for Brotherhood and Unity, worth definitely checking out. With, I think it was Tomislav, I'm forgetting the last name, but Tomislav was the interview we did, and he did a wonderful job explaining the whole design history behind Brotherhood and Unity. Then we have Adam Starkweather's, he's got 2 titles from Adam Starkweather, Company Scale System, Fold a Gap in the 80s, and Doomsday Project, Battle for Germany in early April. So not much of a respite at Compass. We're going to hit the ground running in January, pretty fast, pretty hard. But the good news, again, is a bunch of these titles are either going to get collated shortly or they're at the printer right now. And we're just going to be waiting for the printer to deliver the finished items. So again, we're really excited about how we're going to be starting off the year. If anybody has any questions about the games that are upcoming, I'll be happy to answer them. I know there was a question earlier on Facebook. Somebody asked about the status of SCHUTZTRUPPE. SCHUTZTRUPPE, current status on that game by Dennis Bishop is that we are basically updating the order of battle displays. We made some changes to the counter mix. So the counter sheet map are actually all done. We're now, since we made changes on some of the counters, we're just making sure the order of battle displays for the game are up to date as well, that they're keeping pace with the counter changes, some of the counter changes we made. So the status on SCHUTZTRUPPE is the game map is done, the counter sheet is done, those can go to the printer, but we're now working on the player aid cards and the order of battle displays. So that is the status on SCHUTZTRUPPE. What I'd like to do is give you updates on other projects in our first broadcast next year, because there's just too much to cover tonight. But I do want to do a quick sneak peek of one game that's ready for a big update to share with everybody is going to be the Third World War series. So the artist, Bruce Urians, made really good progress on a huge, this is one of the biggest projects I've personally been involved in, 6 full-size maps covering 4 different games in one package by Frank Chadwick, and a project team comprised of about 6-7 members who are all very avid and very experienced gamers with Third World War series, so they know the game inside out. And again, we're just enhancing the game, and I want to just share with you the final box art we went with. So I'm showing that to you right now. So basically what we did here was we've got 4 games in the pack. This is taking all 4 games, bringing them together in one monster release package. So it's Arctic Front, Battle for Germany, Southern Front, and Persian Gulf. So you can see on the final, we tried different treatments, art treatments. We opened it up for some feedback. We got some great feedback. And one thing that I thought just made a lot of sense, you know, back in the time in the 80s, a lot of attention was on the potential aggression coming from the Warsaw Pact, or to be blunt, the Soviet Union. So I thought what would be apropos for the cover would be, you know, showing a shot of a Soviet military parade, you know, a show and force, their pageantry of, you know, how they were building up for what would have been a potential armed conflict that would have kicked off in Central Europe. So that, as you can see, that's the main image gracing our front cover. And I'm really excited to show you all the maps and all the counter sheets for this game. We're actually just wrapping up final proofing, making final changes and tweaks. So I'm going to share that with you actually in our next live broadcast. And we're really excited about that release. So that's a little bit about one of our updates. I want to also share with you another update. And again, I'm going to tip the hat to Gregory Smith. Greg's one of our, Bill, I'd say Greg's one of our more active designers for us. He's got a lot of different projects he's working on right now. Would you agree?
Yes, him and Adam Starkweather are.
And Adam Starkweather for sure. So Greg, so what we do have today, I want to sort of unveil, I haven't shown this yet to anybody, but we're working with Tim Hall, a graphic artist who's also involved with us on the SCHUTZTRUPPE Dennis Bishop project. And we do have the cover, the front cover for Imperial Tide. So I'm going to share with you here in a moment how Tim came about with this cover image, which is basically taken from a monument. So this is, so for everybody listening and watching tonight, if you had a chance to experience Pacific Tide, or you're shortly going to get the experience in January to play Ostkrieg, which is the land-based World War II version of that game system, we're taking Pacific Tide and Ostkrieg system to World War I, strategic level, all of World War I, all of Europe, and playable in a few hours. I believe it's also going to have a solitaire bot. Grego does a great job at working on that solitaire bot system as well. So we just were able to unveil. I've added it to the website already on Compass Games. So this is the first look of the cover. It comes from a monument, a World War I monument. So just to give you some flavor here, that front cover actually came from this monument right here from World War I. You can actually see the years enshrined, 1914. 1918, and that monument, that statue figurine that graces it, is what you actually see here, is what's on our front cover. So we're really excited. I think this is a great cover that's going to really do well for this new design. This is on pre-order currently from Compass Games, so it is something that you can order. And as I mentioned, Tim Hall is now active starting the artwork for the game. So now that the front cover is done, we're going to be moving on here next to the counters and to the map sheet. So I just want to give you just a flash update of just a few things before we move on to the rest of our schedule for tonight. So let's see. Yes, so we talked about what's coming first quarter of 2020. I want to thank everybody who's on Facebook, who happens to be on Facebook. I know not all of you are Facebook members, but I do want to thank everybody. We did hit the 3,000 subscriber mark in the last 2-3 weeks. So I think when I started, we were around 700 or so, or 800. And it's really wonderful to have 3,000 followers, which means every time we post on Facebook, it shows up in their feed and they see what we have to add. And we do throw a lot of, just to be fair, to let you know, we do throw a lot of artwork, a lot of announcements, a lot of sharing posts from others on Facebook that are playing games and their experience, their after action reports. We share all that on Facebook as well. We love sharing what other people post about our games. That's really our favorite thing to do, is to share what others are saying about our games. So I want to thank everybody for that. As a reminder, we've got our holiday sale going on. So if you click on the Compass Games holiday savings banner, it will take you to this page. And again, this holiday special runs with special prices through end of January. So there's still time, absolutely, to look at any games you'd like to pick up. And these would be discounted in some cases, below even pre-order prices for games currently in stock. You can get some extra savings, up to 30% off retail price. There is a link to download the entire catalog right here on the left. Or if you just want the order form, if you just want to print out the order form, I'll just click on it here because it's a simple download. Just to give you an idea, we just formatted the order form by itself. So you can pre-fill it out, post it on your refrigerator door. Hopefully your significant other or friend will see it. And you can go ahead and have it sent in. And so here's an old-fashioned way to send it in the mail, just the order form by itself. But again, we've got a link for the entire catalog as well. And Bill, anything you'd like to say in particular about Compass Games Expo 2019? You did mention a little bit already about, we love thanking everybody with 50% off. I think actually if people came from the UK and from Europe, they'd probably save enough money, would pay for their airplane ticket, probably to the East Coast, just the savings to get 50% off, right?
Yes.
So how, anything you want to say about the general turnout, the people that were there, the designers, what you spent your time, who you talked to, any memorable conversations you had at the second?
I had a lot.
You had a lot of conversations.
And it's just meeting all the gamers that I've emailed over the years and talked to that we've never met. And it was just great. I think we were up we were up about 20% over the year before.
Yep.
Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to increase attendance next year. And it was just a great time.
Yeah, it really is a lot of fun, and it's actually great.
The good thing is my wife actually is there all the time. Enjoys meeting the people as well. Okay, she's part of registration and part of and my son Billy was there. He works in the company and he was there, and it was just great. You were there. I don't know how great that was, but
yeah, I know that's a downfall.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's probably the low point of the.
It's a low point of everything, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it was a great time. Hopefully, everybody had a good time, and they'll come back. And we're always looking to improve, and we hope we always are on the track that my philosophy is. You always need to improve everything. Okay, everything can be improved, and so I take when people email me at sales@compassgames.com, I take their what they say to heart, and I try to install new procedures. So we're always trying to move forward, and we're not perfect, okay, but I'll tell you, we strive, and we really look at ourselves on everything we do and evaluate, and we try to make things better. So we're always trying to improve.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, listen, some more questions have come in since I had a chance to bore everybody with all these details about the year and what's coming. So they're tired of hearing me talk. So the good news is there's questions for you to answer.
Oh, well, okay.
So Gilbert Collins, and by the way, Gilbert Collins says, hey, that cover from Imperial Tide is from my hometown, Ottawa. So there's some more background on that monument. It's in Ottawa. So excellent. Thanks, Gilbert, for sharing that. That's very cool. So question from Gilbert Collins is, just out of curiosity, what have been the top 3 to 5 games that Compass has produced off the cuff, would you say?
The 3 to 5 best games?
Yeah.
Selling?
Yes.
Okay. It has to be historically Silent War still holds the #1 in games sold.
And to remind everybody, that was one of the first games ever released covering...
That was the first game ever released.
Oh. Well, there you go.
It was a World War II submarine, and we're actually doing a deluxe edition, okay, from China with mounted maps, all new, updated counters. I think the next one in units sold is Enemy Action, Ardennes.
Ardennes, yeah, by John Butterfield. Mm-hmm.
And then I think after that, they're all really in the mix. We have about 10 or 15 that are all really in the mix at that point. But I would say right now, the ones that are really Hearts and Minds, Combat, Blue Water Navy are really selling quite a bit. And again, I would put in all the Gregory Smith games.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay, after that.
Okay, perfect. So that's a great rundown. So thanks for sharing that. Also, the question came in, the hobby seems to be moving a bit against card-driven games. Again, this is one person's perspective, so it's good to hear other people's perspectives. I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but I just want to throw it out there. So he's saying the hobby seems to be moving a bit away from card-driven games. Has Compass got any card-driven games in the works?
Oh, yes, we have quite a few. Okay, we haven't, I would say about 30% of our games are card-driven. Okay, and card-driven games still sell. Okay.
Yeah, Pacific Tide, Oast Creek, and then what's interesting about card-driven games, there's still a lot of differences in how designers approach a card-driven game.
Correct.
The effects of the cards, how much impact they have, really can vary a lot from the traditional card-driven game. So what
we see is like Night Fighter has cards. Combat has cards, and is really the #1 seller in the last 2 months is Combat and Blue Water Navy that both have cards. I don't necessarily think they might not be, quote, 100% card driven, but no, we haven't really seen that. Okay, we've seen that Okay, it depends again on the topic.
Yeah, 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 exactly. And then I think the hobby needs more than another term than just card-driven games, because really card-driven can be mean something completely different for a different design. It could be the entire design or a small piece, almost like taking a random events table and just putting it in the form of card play almost. So it could be very minor to, yeah, it is a fully, so I guess I got to give some thought to that. Maybe I'll research. Are there other terms for card-driven games happening? I don't know. Maybe others know the answer to that. Another question, which I guess I could probably take on, is from Richard Whitmer. He's asking, is there any estimate for the expansion or the second map for France 44? So I'm going to rephrase that question, Richard. I think what that is about, it's really asking, when's the follow-on game coming for France 44 that will mate with it? And that's, of course, Russia 1944. That's a brand new game design from Mark Herman. It's obviously based completely on the new France 44, and Mark Herman did make some refinements and some changes to the game. The combat system's a bit different and other refinements, but basically Mark took his own design and he knew how to make it better, in his mind, how he could make it better. And that's what he's done. And you'll see that very clearly in his publications coming up. He's had an advanced copy for about 6 weeks now, and he's very excited about how it came out and how the game plays, because he's playing it a lot now. And right now he's actually working, to answer your question, he's working right now on Russia 44. So he's, I know he's enjoying California over the holidays right now, because he told me last week he's doing that. So if Mark Herman watches this recording, I want to wish him and the family all the best in California for the holiday season and the new year. But he shared with me that Russia 44, he's working on the order of battle right now. And then, of course, there's going to be special rules covering the Eastern Front. So what's ultimately going to happen is Mark Herman works fairly fast. So I'm guessing within 60 days, I'm going to hear back from him about I'm nearly done, or I'm tweaking a few things. And then we sort of move on from that. The map artwork will get slightly updated based on any tweaks or changes that Mark Herman wants to make as he completes the design officially. You have seen the Russian map already. We had to do that holistically for the whole design. But there's going to be some changes, I think, to the Eastern Front map still to come as he finishes that design work. But I would project that if we can stay on schedule, we should see Russia 1944 hopefully by end of the year, end of 2020. And again, you'll have the option to mate up that game with France 44 to do a combined game for all of European theater operations. So that's something we're very much looking forward to. So great questions across the board. I want to thank everybody for their questions. What I'd like to do now is I want to close with a few surprises to thank everybody for bearing with me. See, I'm not going to apologize for Bill, because everything he says is much more interesting than what I say. So we know that already. That's a given. But since I did maybe a little more than talking than Bill did, I think by way of form of an apology, I'm going to go ahead and announce a new pre-order game tonight. If that's okay with you, Bill, I'd like to announce, with your permission, I'd like to announce a new pre-order game with your blessing.
Yes, fine.
All right, so let me do this. I am on my other screen typing furiously because I had to hide this from everybody so nobody would find out in advance what the darn game is. It's not going to be a surprise if I have it showing already. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that game magically appear on our website. So then I can share our website, and the new pre-order item is going to magically appear on it. So let's give that a try. So I'm going to share my screen again. So let me go ahead and do that right now. So we're back to our screen share, and notice I'm going to click now on the pre-orders page. And again, nothing better than to end the year with a new pre-order game announcement. Barbarians at the Gates. So what did Bill say? A little pop quiz for everybody. What did Bill say he wants to do with certain historical eras for next year? One of his goals was Ancients. So Ancients era, which this is, it's before 500 AD, so this qualifies as Ancients. So just to scroll down here a little bit, I think you'll be excited to hear about the designer, Chris Van Buren. So those not familiar with Chris, he did Europe in Turmoil, which is, yes, it's a card-driven game. This is another one of these card-driven games. I will mention that, I have seen a lot of people, a lot of our customers have mentioned who've gravitated to Europe in Turmoil, his design that, it's in a way, it's a lot like, it's in the spirit of, say, the Twilight, most popular game ever produced, according to Board Game Geek. It's like Twilight Struggle, but it's on World War I. Europe in Turmoil covers what led to World War I, the outbreak of World War I. And now we have him designing a new game, similar type of approach and system, Ancients era. So it's the Decline and Fall, Western Roman Empire. This is a two-player game, much like Europe in Turmoil is a two-player game. We have here a little sneak peek of the game map. Ah, nice. Yes, mounted map. So nice mounted map, nice deluxe components. It's going to be a really nice, almost like that Euro feel, quality component feel. It's going to be a beautiful, gorgeous map, beautiful pieces. It is card driven, so let me take a moment just to show you. I have posted here, we don't have a box cover yet, but I have, let me click again. We have posted some samples of the game cards. So you can see here for the opposing sides, we have some of the game cards here. So again, we're really excited because a lot of folks really like his Europe in Turmoil game. And that one has done extremely well, which probably is no surprise based on how the game system operates in the topic. But so now we're going to Ancients. So this is personal to Bill now. Now we're getting personal with Bill because this is one of his favorite eras now. So we want you to pre-order this one tonight. So this is available tonight for pre-order for $52. So typically I would just like to end here, Bill, but being the slave driver that you are, I'm going to predict you're going to tell me that one pre-order tonight just isn't good enough for you, is it?
No.
Of course not. So I have to do another pre-order, don't I?
Yep.
Okay, let's do another pre-order. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to update the site again. So give me one moment here. And we're going to do the same little fire drill, but you can't see that I'm doing behind the scenes on my other monitor. I have to make this visible and release it live on our website, which I believe it is now. So let's take a look at the pre-orders, and there we go. And then, I've got a cover already. Oh, I'm upping my game, Bill. I'm upping my game. So matter of fact, I'm going to up my game to 3D mode. I'm going to go with a 3D cover. I'm really going to up my game here. So this one, I'm really excited about because I know a lot about this design already. I don't know as much, although I'm excited about the other one because I know who Chris is. He's a great designer because he did Europe in Turmoil. This one is going to be exciting because I know this game system is very popular for a lot of people. It's sort of based its roots on Sekigahara. Sekigahara is a very popular game. It's a very unique game with the wooden pieces, the way the wooden tiles work. It has a very unique look to it. And it's going to be a very similar type of gaming experience covering Granada, 1482-92 in Spain. And we do have a draft map as well. I've seen it up close in person. It was at Compass Games Expo, so another thing to mention. Another nice thing about Compass Games Expo is we have quite a few designers or developers. In this case, is a developer who was there who had the playtest map and pieces for Granada. And boy, I'll tell you what, just looks fabulous. Fabulous looking game, and it's going to have all the wooden block treatments and everything, just and cards, etc., etc. Mounted map and everything. So I think this one's going to turn a lot of heads. I just like it for the fish effect in the ocean. I don't know about you. That just I'm sold just for that alone. That right there, I'm good to go on it. But again, this is a great design, great artwork done, European artwork. Again, great artists. This is just a draft map again, so it's going to be changing, and I'm sure there'll be some enhancements to it. But again, if you visit now, again, mounted map, a lot of deluxe pieces, wooden pieces. I think there's even bags. If I go to the components section, for example, past the explanation, see we've got wooden castle shapes, cylinders, cubes. We've got a lot of cards, 150 plus cards, lots, 2 draw bags, and we're going all out on this. So really a primo deluxe package. It's going to be a beautiful product by Jose Rivero and by his graphic designer Ivan as well. So we're really happy and excited. It's nice at Compass. It's not everything. World War II sells great, But what we really like about, having such a mix, especially with Paper Wars, and I think we just released the front cover for the next Paper Wars issue. We really do cover a lot of different historical eras and topics. And so I'm really pleased that we can have Granada, Barbarian at the Gates, Ancients, two great topics, two great systems. I think this is really an exciting way to end the year, is to talk about these two new pre-orders. So they're available right now. You can see Granada there with a lot of extra components. Barbarians at the Gates will be very deluxe for sure with the mounted map. Obviously, Granada has even more deluxe components with the different shaped objects, etc. So you can see a little difference, slight difference in the price because of the component quality is increased for that release as well. One thing I want to mention, and I want to thank Compass Games as well, is Bill attends regularly. I think his son Billy and Julian was at the WBC World Board Gaming Championships this summer. I know Bill was in attendance at Consum World Expo in June in Tempe, Arizona. They've attended the last few years there as well, and he does his seminar in June at Consum World Tempe. Also, just want to mention, and this is more of a Consum World announcement, but it is tied to Compass Games. Compass has agreed to be a sponsor of a brand new Consum World Expo branded event. So this is Consum World now, a Consum World event. So we have our Tempe event entering our 20th year. So I'll be doing my 20th anniversary event in June in Arizona. But a lot of people have been asking the last 2 or 3 years, when are you going to do something in Dallas for Consum World, for a regional event, say over a 3-day weekend? And I've been announcing the last 2 years, give me more time. I'm trying to find just the right venue in Dallas where, I want to have a very good top-notch venue like we have in Arizona to do this in Dallas. So I finally found it. Brand new hotel, literally walk across the street to an award-winning outdoor mall, outdoor shopping village, has the grocery store because you've got there's a fridge in every hotel room. So you're all set. There's a grocery store a stone's throw across the street, a Starbucks, another coffee shop, about 8 restaurants, lots of shops. So if the wives come, they can go shopping all day easily. It's a upscale shopping, beautiful outdoor facility. That's the Delta Hotel by Marriott in Allen, Texas. So I will be launching this website next week officially. It's called Consum World Expo Dallas, not to confuse with our 20th year, which is Consum World Expo or monstergame.com in Dallas. Also, it's open gaming, so I'm excited to have Compass Games there because I know we're going to have some designers from Compass Games. For example, Mark Herman is our special guest in March. It's March 6th to the 8th. Mark Herman's our special guest, so the person who was asking about Russia 1944, guess what? Mark Herman and the developer of that game, Judd Vance, will both be at Consum World Expo Dallas in March, expecting to play test the Russia 44 game. Just an example of the designers and the exciting special events we'll have in Dallas. So I want to thank you, Bill. You don't have to sponsor this event. Obviously, it's an outside third-party event, but I want to thank you for backing it, much like you do the main Expo event in Arizona every year. And we're excited to have you coming down in March. And again, we'll be officially launching Consum World Expo Dallas next week. So great to have Compass Games attending more events. And I know we'll have some new gamers that will be attending the Dallas event that might not make it to Arizona, maybe not WBC, and maybe not Compass Expo. But it's wonderful that we'll be able to meet some new people in Dallas in less than 3 months from now. So thanks again for the support. And with that, let me just say, I'm going to go ahead, and what I'd like to do is I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go ahead and just turn it over to Bill. I would like you to have the closing word. So this is our last broadcast for 2019, and nothing can be more important than have a really insightful comment from the owner-president of Compass Games, just to put the wrapper, just to put the bow on that last gift from Compass Games, just to show how grateful we all are to all our valued customers. I am going to leave the last word with the professional, which is you. So take it away.
Here's what it all comes down to. I thank all my customers because we wouldn't be here today without you. We appreciate you. and this is the greatest gig in the world. Okay, to be working with John, to be doing something, that you do as a hobby, that you can do and produce games, and we could only do it because of you guys. So I appreciate everyone who buys a game from us, and hopefully 2019 was great. 2020, I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday. And that's all I can say is I appreciate every customer we have.
All right, can't top that. I want to thank you, Bill, for joining us tonight. It was a special treat
Well,
for
thank you,
everybody
John.
to have you on tonight. I want to wish everybody, again, happy holidays. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. We're excited to kick it off next year, talking about new releases already. When we do our first webcast next year, we'll already have France 1944 out. We'll have a major update on Third World War series that a lot of people want to see. So we're gonna hit the ground running in 2020. So have a safe holiday, everybody. I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.